Richie rocks. Up.
That clip was pretty funny, huh?
That's hilarious.
I knew you would laugh. I thought you would laugh.
It's so true. All of it is so true. Well, the other day on Twitter, I tweeted and said, would it be fucked up if I sent a guy and then it was the ghost emoji? And it said, and then never talk to him again.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next tweet was asking for a friend.
Does he follow you on Twitter?
Who, the dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying it. Like, I didn't really have anybody in particular. But those are just things that you kind of think about when you are talking to a dude. And then, you know, like, you meet these guys on these dating websites and you are talking to them. And it's real hit or miss. You're either going to get a real, boring dude, or sometimes they say stuff and you're like, what? What are you doing? Like, what?
Like what?
So, yeah, so it's just, I was just
like
wondering if, people ghost each other all the freaking time.
Oh, that's so annoying. I've been ghosted.
But is it too much to actually send a ghost and then be a ghost? Like,
I feel like
essentially to tell the person. Oh, if you tell them you're going to ghost them?
Yeah.
You're right. That's true. Don't ghost people. Don't tell them you're going to ghost them. Just do it. That's what you should learn from this episode.
If you're going to ghost them, then you ghost them. That's like the whole point. But
what percentage of people on dating websites do you think get ghosted? Like, does everybody experience this? Is there somebody out there that has never gotten ghosted before? I don't know.
I've been ghosted.
I'm
on the verge of ghosting a couple people lately. I don't want to have to do it, but I feel like it's getting to that point. It's just lack of effort, right? And for me, as a woman, I want a guy to be a little more invested into trying, because I know what they're getting. They're getting Roopster. They're getting I think I'm awesome. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with that fact, and I've been working on myself, and they're going to get something pretty cool. But for me, I would like a little more effort on guys' part, and I don't think they're willing to do it. So everybody just ghosts each other. Like, it's just the easiest thing to do. You either don't put effort in, or you put a lot of effort in, or you do the opposite, which is the ghosting. It's the most rude thing you can possibly do. Like, why can't people just say, I am not interested? You can say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, but you shouldn't necessarily have to apologize. You can say it for the semantics or the vernacular, but I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
But I don't think people find out if they're interested or not, because people don't even meet most of the time, or sometimes they do, and I don't know what the hookup culture is saying recently, but I just feel like people are using it for that, just for like hooking up and ghosting each other. Like,
I guess if you make it explicitly known in your profile or in your initial messaging that you're just looking for fun or whatever, then I guess that should
is that the code word in there? Just looking for fun. I've seen some people.
I like to have a good time, or I
like to party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put all of those in my and see what kind of responses I get, because I didn't know those were the code words for.
Don't you? Do you have not seen guys' profiles that say stuff like that?
Well, I have. I find it refreshing, but I also think that they're just assholes. So I'm like,
boys.
Yeah, they're fuck boys. We were having that conversation about fuck boys and fuck girls. A fuck boy tells you up front that they're a fuck boy. Like, they go in saying, we're not gonna date. Like, I'm not looking for anything. It's just, this is just physical. Like, I like you though. Like, they'll come in saying that stuff, and they'll pretty much warn you, and the girl will always just like,
like,
or you should at least know
laugh
ahead of time by their behavior.
Well, yeah, of course, but girls think they can change guys, or I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah,
So a lot of
true.
times they're like, no, this guy's gonna see how awesome I am and he's gonna wipe me up, and it doesn't happen. Like, that's how you know it's a fuckboy too, because they tell you up front. But there are a lot of fuckboys that don't. They're just fuckboys. But you know, whatever. You guys want to be fuckboys? Go be fuckboys. Just don't be fuckboys around me.
On my watch.
On my watch, yeah. Go be fuckboys with other girls. It's just not my friends, because I don't want to hear them complain about you fuckboys fucking with their lives. Then it becomes my problem, and now I don't want to deal with that either. So everybody, please stay away from me.
But I gotta say, like, go bring it back to ghosting. Ghosting is just wrong. Can people stop doing it? Just say you're not interested.
It's hard not to ghost people also when you're a
No,
nice
it's
person
not.
and you just want to, not be mean to that.
If
like,
you're a nice person, you do the right thing.
so I should go through my entire Bumble right now.
No, you don't have to.
And go tell every guy that
apologize for what happened in the past. I'm just saying, from moving forward, people should do the appropriate thing. What's so wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with
Integrity,
it.
right? Having integrity.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
leaving
hard.
people wondering is the worst thing you could possibly do.
I agree. There's some song lyrics about that. I'm gonna have to look them up because I don't remember them off the top, but I wrote them down.
Because assuming I'm assuming the majority of people out here listening, and including us, have been ghosted at some point.
Yeah,
and then you're just kind of left
except all you married people.
Unless it's explicitly known that it's not going to be something, or whatever it is. But if you're like, it's like developing, and then all of a sudden something's ghosted, you're ghosted, and you're like, what the?
That's the worst type of ghosting. I think the more common ghosting is you're just like, both of you are just not trying to have a conversation like that. Like, you're not trying to hold a conversation.
I would say if you just hook up one time, or you're just having sex, then it's not necessarily ghosting. Like,
it's just a one-night stand.
It's just a one-night stand.
Yeah.
It's like implied that you probably won't talk to each other again.
That you want to have fun. You're just looking for a good time.
Yeah.
What are some other DTF? What else is in there?
Yeah, I like to party. Looking for a good time. That's pretty much it. Always up for something new. Right?
Maybe I should go through and look at what I have going. No, I'm over it. We're gonna stop talking about that. You know what we are gonna talk about though? Today is somebody's birthday.
It is January 28th.
It's January 28th.
And we are the Realennials.
Yeah, I'm Ruby.
I'm Pat.
And again, we are the Realennials.
Thank you for tuning in.
So it is January 28th, and it's
2017.
It happens to be my favorite rapper's birthday. So we're going to grace you with some of my favorite rappers' music.
Yeah. Look, the real is back, the veil is back. Flow bananas hit, pill is back. And what you'll find is your highness could paint a picture that's vivid enough to cure blindness. Carolina's finest, you knew that already. The terms of the greatest, I proved that already. And if you would like, I'll do it twice. I just sharpened my blade, for a minute became lost in my ways. It's for my niggas that was tossed in the grave. Every so often I fade deep in my thoughts and then get lost in the days we used to play before your coffin was made. Just got the car, nigga got caught with a straight. Hope he's okay. Just got paid what concrete got paid. The free OJ, just to share my life on the stage in front of strangers who know a nigga far too well. And that's the danger. Know me better than I know myself. I rip a page out my notebook in anger and let these thoughts linger, singing. Don't give them too much truth. Don't give them too much truth. Don't let them take control. Don't let them take control. It's one thing you do. It's one thing you do. Don't let them take your soul. Don't let them take your soul. If you believe in God, if you believe in God, one thing's for sure. One thing's for sure. If you ain't aim too high, if you ain't aim too high, if you aim too low. and you ain't too low. What's the price for a black man life? I checked the toe tag, not 1 0 in sight. I turn the TV on, not one hero in sight. Unless he dribble or he fiddle with mics. Look out the window, cause tonight the city lit up with lights, cameras, and action. Man, no man alive come through and damage my faction. I brought you niggas with me cause I love you like my brothers, and your mothers like my mother. Think we need a plan of action. The bigger we get, the more likely eagles collide. It's just physics. Please, let's put our egos aside. You my niggas, and should our worst tendencies turn us into enemies? I hope that we remember these nights full of Hennessy. When Hove around, we switch up to that Douce. Gotta show respect one day, we tryna stay where you stay. Cause we from where you from. I'm talking about the slums, I'm talking about that mind state to keep a black nigga dumb. Keep a black nigga dying by a black nigga gun. And keep him listening to these frontin' ass rap niggas, son. Yeah, I said son. This is New York's finest. 4-11 winters straight, I took on New York's climate. Like show me New York's ladder. I climb it and set the bar so high that you gotta get Obama to force the Air Force to find it. Never mind it, you never reach that. Cole is the hypnotist, control the game whenever he snap. That's every track, nigga. Don't give him too much you. Don't give him too much you. Don't let him take control. Don't let him take control. It's one thing you do. It's one thing you do. Don't let him take your soul. Don't let him take your soul. If you believe in God, if you believe in God, one thing's for sure. One thing's for sure. If you ain't aim too high, if you ain't too high, then you ain't too low, then you ain't too low. I ain't serve no pies. I ain't slang no dope. I don't bring no lies. Niggas say my quotes. I don't play no games. Boy, I ain't no joke. Like the great Rakim. When I make my notes, you niggas might be L, or you might be Kane, or you might be Slick Rick with 19 chains, or you might be Drizzy Drake or Kendrick Lamar. But check the birth date, nigga. You ain't the guy.
Dang.
Nah, you ain't the guy.
Did you hear that? He called out a bunch of people.
That shit is dope.
January 28th. This is J. Cole's birthday. J. Cole just happens to be one of my favorite rappers. And the more you know, people, the more you know.
January 28th, 2017.
2017.
Welcome to the show. Woo! That was dope.
That's a good song. You know, I forgot about, how could I forget? J. Cole's great. He's an inspiration. I really appreciate his hustle and his art and his artistry and everything about him. So that's about it.
Yeah, he's dope. Can we get a subscribe for that copyright violation?
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yeah, that's
Subscribe and like.
we had to play it. We had to play it. It's January 28th. So what's new, Pat? What's going on?
Oh, you know, same old, same old. Living the dream. Working.
That's the
Hanging
dream.
out.
Nah, son.
You know, just living in this post apocalyptic world. Donald Trump as president.
That was the word I was going to use. Apocalyptic.
More, I don't know. Just living, just getting by.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
I'm trying to keep track of like how much my life changes, if at all, with Donald Trump as president.
Mine hasn't changed very much except for all the hate on my Facebook and all the ladies marching around. So I think that's pretty cool, but nobody.
That's interesting to think about the Facebook though, because before there's like humans pre-Facebook. That's almost like a new era.
This is a new era, the Facebook era.
Jurassic era and like Mesozoic era. It's like
all the way
humans
through to
pre-Facebook and post-Facebook. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Because the reason I say that is because of how much Facebook impacts your emotions on a daily basis.
It connects you to so much. It really does. I think Facebook is now a community that everybody's a part of. That and in some senses it's a substitute to like a real in-person community. So it's pretty impactful because you can use images and it's interactive and it's a sticky website. Like you stay on there a while. So Facebook.
Yeah,
good job, Mark Zuckerberg.
You interact with people But it's also just intrinsically tied to information outside of Facebook. So Google and Wikipedia and
within
news
your
articles
community already, within the people that you already personally know. So most of those people are probably going to have similar beliefs to you. So that's interesting too, because I feel like just from where we grew up, people have a different opinion than I think where I'm at right now. So I've at least gotten to see a couple sides of things. But Facebook, they've been accusing all of this fake news, and everybody's in their bubble and nobody's seeing anybody else's point of view. And I can see why that's happening on Facebook, because most people probably have the same point of views, or this is the cognitive dissonance thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it.
What I've been listening to, I listened to this Joe Rogan podcast with Hunter Maats, 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 I think is how you spell it. And he discussed, what he was discussing was, in addition to that, more specifically, confirmation bias is what people are seeking out. Confirmation bias. So they are, and I was listening, actually NPR talked about it today too. On my way home, I was listening to them and they're talking about confirmation bias. Is it the chicken or the egg? Are people seeking out things that are confirm what they already believe? Or is media producing things that confirm what people already believe? Mm-hmm. And
that's
the obvious answer is that both things are happening.
Both of those forces, for sure.
So it's just interesting. It's interesting. Sorry, I digress from our conversation that we were having.
No, that's interesting stuff. What else did they talk about in that podcast? Pat's been talking about this podcast with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, if you're listening to this, I hope one day you are. You're great. Thanks for the podcast. And we continue. What else did he talk about?
I'm trying to get on Joe Rogan someday and be his guest.
Samesies.
But anyways, he was talking about with Hunter Maats. They were getting in a conversation about science and religion, and more specifically, not science versus religion, but they're even beyond that, they were evaluating the conversation, specifically the conversation between science and religion, and who were the people at the forefront of it, such as Richard Dawkins and a few other people, and people who are on the forefront of the religious side, and how that argument or battle is being held. But it was just interesting. It was very interesting. He was discussing how people start interpreting that information as young people in high school, essentially, because he gained a lot of his observational research from, he wrote a book, and it's called, I forgot. I wrote notes on this stuff, but I left them in my coat.
We'll get you the name of that book.
I'll share this information in the link in the description, so you guys make sure to check that out. But anyways, he was talking about the differences in culture, how differences in culture and different cultures around the world affect how you grow up, and because he was exposed to different kids around the world as a tutor, high school age kids.
Oh yeah.
This is where he gained all his kind of observational research about how people form their beliefs as young people, how they carry them into adulthood, and how their interaction with their education system in their culture affects who they ultimately become as a person.
He conducted this study? This is in his book?
It's observational research.
Yeah.
So he lived this life as a tutor in different parts of the world, and then later on came to a conclusion himself, or a realization or epiphany, if you will, about basically he's trying to explain the complexity of dealing with diplomacy across cultures, and how that starts in the mind of an individual depending on their culture.
Oh, I see.
So he's saying, like, it is every argument that we're having as a society between conservatives and liberals, between Christians and Islam, between Americans and Russians, like, it is all because of how societal norms raised you.
And the differences there.
And the differences there, and those, how those societies form your perception of life. But then also, he took that and studied that in the context of how it affects them in the schooling and their education system.
What? This sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty complex. It's really, really complex stuff, and it was really kind of hard for me to follow.
Have you looked up his book?
I wrote it down. I have it.
So you can go to the library and check it out.
Yeah, or your Audible. This podcast is not sponsored by Audible, but Audible, if you want to hit us up.
You started out like it.
I be on that shit on Audible.
Yeah, I love audio books. I love podcasts. I do better listening to my information and retaining it, because usually I'm moving around or driving or doing something else. So Audible, yes, please hit us up. I'll look into that book after I finish.
I take in information well audibly. I like to be entertained in terms of a novel.
Yeah.
Read it. I like to read it.
Oh, visually. So like you like your fiction
in
book form. You like your nonfiction.
Yeah, information, education.
Yeah, I agree.
Audibly. Anyways, I digress. So he talks about that, and he makes observations about how to make the conversation go more smoothly. Any conversation
between cultures.
Well, yeah, and he makes a link. He's trying to make the link in the case for, like, emotions and the overall human condition and the nature of humans. That has to be considered and taken into account when discussing things as very particular as science and mathematics. Because it's all one big thing. You know, humanity is all one big thing. It's called the human condition.
Yeah. He
never says that, at least in that Joe Rogan interview. Maybe he says it in his book. But it's called the human condition. And we're subject to dealing with life and perceiving it through everything from as calculated as mathematics to as irrational as love and anger and things like that. And it all has to be taken into account. And it's what also has to be taken into account if we're dealing with, like, geopolitics and economics, international economics, is how different cultures perceive those emotions and how they perceive concrete things such as math and stuff. And if you care to venture into his argument is, like, we should care to venture into understanding how they perceive things socially and not just how they perceive things in numbers, mathematics, that we can truly, that's the only way we can truly make progress into, like, disseminating information in terms of science and getting people to understand things such as evolution or climate change. So he's accusing, like, people such as Richard Dawkins. You know who Richard Dawkins is? He wrote The God Complex. And other tons of research. He's an atheist, he's like the atheist that describes the world in a very scientific and matter-of-fact way. And what Hunter Maats is accusing him of is saying he doesn't introduce enough emotion into his theories to change anyone's mind or make his information.
He's trying to logic
effective.
Everybody into believing him instead of. And it's true, emotions behind logic.
And what Hunter's saying is that
better.
How people truly learn is by associating it with their emotions, associating new information with emotions. And he's like, but if you make it so that they're angry at you and you make them feel stupid, then they will reject this new information, and it defeats the purpose of the
you
general
writing
goal
it,
of the
yeah.
conversation of educating people, because those people you're trying to educate or introduce this new information to reject it based purely off of emotion.
And how you presented it,
But-
you could have presented it differently.
Yeah, so that's what that conversation was. And it went really back and forth, and I don't think he presented it very well. It was kind of off the cuff. It was a little bit awkward. He was trying to be a little bit funny, but Joe Rogan was kind of like getting irritated a little bit, it seemed like. And he was like, I need you to explain this more because I don't get what you're saying. And to be honest, it was really hard to understand what he was saying because he's very quick, like really quick. I think what he was saying ultimately was making sense. I don't think he did a great job of explaining it necessarily, but he was on point in terms of he would bring up authors. He's like, if you don't believe me, read this. If you don't believe me, read this. There's 3 books on this topic written by such, such, such.
Dang.
Say the authors, the names of the books, the research. It's like, it's all out there. He's like, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm telling you,
He did the research.
He's doing the discussion of all that research. Yeah. And he's not even trying to develop his own philosophy, but he's saying, like, what is, he's pointing out flaws in these other people's philosophies, saying they're not paying attention enough of this aspect of this other philosophy.
Oh.
And if they did, it would contribute a lot to developing their philosophy. And then they build.
Interesting.
He's like, but there's a lot of rejection between different schools of thought. And because of that, it's isolation of ideas, you know.
Yeah. I wonder what made Joe Rogan pick him to be on. Like, sometimes I
the
listen.
The reason is, specifically on that conversation, is because of Brian Kalin, who is a comedian who is friends with Joe Rogan, good friends with Joe Rogan. But this guy apparently either grew up with him, with Brian Kalin, another comedian, or knew him from childhood. And so he actually is like a co-writer or co-producer or something like that on a TV show. Because he's also a comedian. This guy's a comedic writer. He works in Hollywood as a comedic writer.
And he also wrote this book.
Yeah. All of this stuff that I said about him being like an academic is absolutely 100% true. And he's done all this stuff. But he's also a comedian. And that's what he does.
That's pretty awesome.
As his day job.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. I thought he just got this, like...
He's also kind of handsome, that son of a bitch.
The trifecta.
I know.
I wonder if he has a Bumble. How many girls have you ghosted?
He might be married or something.
Probably.
Good but he's him. He's just way too fast. It's like impossible to keep up with him in conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Rogan held his own. And Joe Rogan was like...
He's a clever guy.
He was very clever. And he called him out. Like, the guy was talking too fast to even, like... I like, barely understood what he's talking about. Because I've spent a lot of time reading and researching different topics that he's had been talking about.
Yeah.
That he touched on.
So
and
you had something to
I
grasp onto.
was, like, barely able to follow. Like, someone who hasn't done as much research as I had, or as Joe Rogan has, like, right over the head.
They turn it off.
Yeah.
Go about their day.
Like, okay, I'll wait for the next one, Joe Rogan.
This is done.
But it was really, really good, interesting information. And at the end, it was, like, really kind of uncomfortable. Joe Rogan felt like he didn't really get his questions answered.
So he cut it short?
He didn't cut it short. It went long.
Oh.
It went 3 hours and 20 minutes. And he was like, I'm sorry, I had to, like, literally have to leave, like, right now. I have to go. Like, he didn't say what he had to do. He had I imagine go pick up his kid from school or something. But
get in that line.
But he was like, straight up, one of the very last things he said, he's like, I feel like we didn't finish this discussion. I feel like we have plenty more to talk about, and you need to come back.
Oh, nice.
And I think he was very serious about that. And I agree. I think they need to complete the discussion. The guy was super, super articulate. Anyways, it was just a really good discussion. I'm going to post a link in the description, and you guys should go check it out and kind of get an idea on your own. I personally wrote down, like, all the books that this guy was talking about and everything that he was talking about, and I plan on researching it myself because he talks about
this sounds
race.
so interesting.
Yeah, I could go on forever about that particular podcast, but just trust me. I'm going to post the link in the description. Check it out. I definitely recommend everyone tune into that conversation. It's a little bit hard to follow, but that's the beautiful thing about a podcast is you can re-listen to it. You can write down the information like I'm going to do. I'm going to read some of those books, and I'm going to re-listen to that podcast and re-listen to that conversation. But it was pretty brilliant, and it contributed. I can say that it was confirmation bias on my end because it contributed to a lot of things that I was already considering doing reading on and things that I've been reading on. And then I'm interested in specifically education and specifically the conversation between science and religion, and in general, at all times, I'm interested in the human condition, understanding it better. And that's ultimately what that conversation was about.
Definitely. I'm interested to hear your take after you read this book. Maybe I'll get this. I want to borrow the book after you read it.
If I buy it on Audible, I think I can gift it to you.
Oh, seriously?
Audible, hit us up. Let me know.
Can I just have some free books? That's all
I
want.
Audible.com
I'll talk about you all day long.
Realennials.
Yes, go do that. We have an affiliate link. Just joking, but Audible hit us up for real. How annoying can we be about this? We will just will a sponsorship into being.
You have to say that you're not sponsored if you bring them up, apparently.
Yeah, we aren't sponsored. We are desperate to be sponsoring them, I guess. I was talking to Pat before we started recording about Tim Ferriss's new book. I wonder if any of you have picked it up.
That is thick.
It is.
Wow.
Did you expect this?
That's like a Harry Potter book.
It's like the 7th Harry Potter book.
All right.
It is about... Wait, where are the page numbers on here?
It's got big print, though, huh? Just like the Harry Potter book.
It's on 660 pages about. I mean, there's no pictures in this book. Actually...
Wingardium Leviosa.
I was at work, and one of my coworkers was like, she had to see something about a graph or a picture. Like, there's something for a caption, I guess. And she opened my book, and she's like, where's... This book has pictures in it, right? And I was like, no, it does not. She's like, there's got to be one picture in here. There's not one picture. There's a graph in here. Or like a...
Those are pictures?
Yeah. There's a few pictures in here, but
what do they call it? Like refer to figure.
Yeah, like the figure. That's what she was trying to figure out. And she looked in here. She's like, "Wow, this is all text." Now it's proved to start off a good book. I still have a lot of pages left, but I'm a big Tim Ferriss fan. I don't know how many people out there are big Tim Ferriss fans. Everybody should be, but his podcast is pretty good. He basically turned his podcast into this reference book, and it's called Tools of Titans: The Tactics, Routines, and Habits of Billionaires, Icons, and World-Class Performers.
Jesus Christ, is that the title?
The title is Tools of Titans.
Say that again?
The Tools of Titans: The Tactics, Routines, and Habits of Billionaires, Icons, and World-Class Performers. This is a reference book, and it's meant to be a reference book. Arnold Schwarzenegger wrote the foreword for this.
Get out of here.
And the foreword starts, "I am not a self-made man." And that's all I'm going to read because you guys have to go buy the fucking book. No, but this book is great.
Get on Audible. Audible, hit us up. I'd be there.
Yeah, like okay, like 24 hours on Audible.
I'll be dropping. See how easy that was? I'm just kidding. Sorry, carry on.
This has so much information in it for anybody trying to better themselves, which is all of you. That's why you're listening to this podcast.
At least you should be.
Yeah, you should be trying. Well, this is some of the best information that I think I've ever seen. He has just packaged all the tips, tricks, and influence of all these people that he's podcast into this book, and it's amazing. The day I bought it, I think I spent the whole night reading, and then I just fell asleep, and
I haven't had a chance to read any more, but I was extremely happy. I took one tip, and this wasn't from anything I've read, but it was from some reviews that I had seen about the book before I bought it. Not that I needed a confirmation to buy it, just I didn't have it, so I wanted some kind of information on it in the meantime. But I don't remember who it is here, but they do their bed every morning, and that's how they start their morning. And I started doing that this week, and it has made a difference. I feel like my room is cleaner. I feel like I've already done something productive as soon as I wake up, and it just gave me a little jump start this week. And if anybody knows me, I am not a morning person. So I really need to take any advice I can on making my mornings a little more productive. So that's just one thing in the book. There's probably 10,000 little tips and tricks. I mean, this book, I think it's like $28. It's the $28 is worth one of these tips working in your life to make you more productive. One.
Are you more productive out there? Will you share with us some things that you do that you feel make you more productive?
Yes, please. Please do that.
Share with us, and we'll share it on the podcast. We'll let other people know if you think it's something that's worth talking about.
Yeah, how do you people wake up in the mornings? Pat's a morning person. Are you a morning person, or you just get up in the morning?
Definitely, I just get up in the morning. Like, I do it because I have to.
At least you can still do. I can't do that even. I mean, you know what? Sometimes yes, but I just naturally like a later start to my day. That's just how it rolls. I like being up late, guys. It's actually 11:20 right now. Like we're rallying on a Saturday night, or recording this podcast. We have a real funny setup going on too. But yeah, send us your productivity tips. This book, you guys should pick it up. I think it's worth it. Pat, I would say I would let you borrow it, but it's going to take me a while to get these tips, because I'm like literally going through every page and using every tip the page has for me.
Do you ever pick up a book that you are going to read and read the last page first?
I've never done that. What?
I've done that.
Do you then put the book back and you're like, oh, that's it?
Yeah, I think I did. I haven't done it actually in a while, but I remember doing it a lot as a kid because I read tons and tons of books as a kid.
Yeah, same here.
But I remember doing it as a kid and reading the last page and being like, wow. And like I gotta read this now.
I gotta go through this book. I've never tried that. That's a tactic.
Because like the majority of the time, the last page does not actually like give away much of the story. It's like very kind of like the last bit, like obviously, sorry I'm being overly obvious, but it's like kind of the last like resolution, right? Like it should make you feel complete, right? Like,
and then you want to but then you have to complete it. You have to complete it.
You feel like it should make you feel complete if you read the whole story. But like for me, it has to create that intrigue. Like, damn, that was like, but it doesn't really give away much of the plot or the storyline.
I've never done that. I might go do that at the library. I don't go Are you talking about fiction books or nonfiction books?
I was fiction. I'm talking about fiction.
I have not gone into a...
Nonfiction, yeah. It defeats the purpose of reading it, I think.
And that's how you...
Sorry, I should have prefaced it by saying it's fiction.
Well, yeah, because we were talking about nonfiction right before this. We were talking about Tim Ferriss's book.
Yeah,
but I mean, we did bring up Harry Potter. What house are you in? Do you know?
Is there a way to find out?
There is a way to find out. There's a...
Other than sitting under the sorting hat?
I have one. Right here. Just joking.
You are Gryffindor.
Who was that?
I don't know.
The sorting hat? What
you have the sorting hat for Harry Potter? Holy shit.
Yep.
I think I'd probably be Ravenclaw.
I don't even remember what are Ravenclaws? Are they proud? Are they what are?
No, Ravenclaw's like the smart ones. They're like too smart for their own good.
What's Hufflepuff? What's Hufflepuff do?
Hufflepuff is like
Oh, they're loyal, aren't they?
everyone else. It's like
Slytherin is
like everyone that wasn't Hufflepuff is like everyone that wasn't like defined. Well defined. Yeah.
They're undecided when they got into Hogwarts.
They're like, we don't know how long we're gonna be here, but no, like I feel like everyone else is way more defined. Like
They're in the
maybe I'm
College of
missing
Liberal
it.
Arts.
Let us know. Let me know whatever Hufflepuff is. But Ravenclaw is like they're smart and cunning, and just like real, quick about it. You know what I'm saying? And like Gryffindor, obviously Harry Potter's a Gryffindor. They're like fun, but and smart, but also like kind of dumb. And like all the Weasleys are there too. They're kind of like dumb and mischievous, but like ultimately good-hearted. Like
they're brave.
Good-hearted, brave, not necessarily the
Courageous.
brightest crown in the box. You know what I'm saying?
Except for Hermione. What do you mean?
that was a conundrum, if you will, or not a conundrum, but a just like a one-off. Like she should. I think it even talks about it in the books. Like she was probably supposed to be a Ravenclaw.
Really?
Yeah, but like I think in the theory it was that like it was just fate that she had to be a Gryffindor in order to be a part of Harry Potter's journey, because without her he would have died like in the first book.
Yeah, he would have.
But
definitely
and I think
failed.
she even like ultimately had some resentment about that. Like she was too smart to be a part of their crew, and like
she carried the team.
she did. She
her
carried
back
the team.
must have
she
hurt.
was like, if I was in Ravenclaw, like everyone would be as smart as me, and I wouldn't be like have so much fucking pressure on my back all the goddamn time.
To save your guys' asses everywhere all the time.
But she was in love with
no
them
way.
as friends, and then she grew to be in love with Ron later on as adults. But it worked out. But yeah, so that's the difference. And then Slytherin is like
That's definitely what I'm in.
Slytherin is like they don't necessarily have a good heart either way. Like they could be good or they could be bad. They're very
Exactly.
they're very like
Me.
like non-moral essentially. Like
'Cause
I would say atheists, but I feel like that's inappropriate towards my cause as an atheist. But they're kind of like, they don't have necessarily like a morality, like a belief in morality. Like they can be good, but they could not necessarily be good. But they
could be good if it's for their own good.
Yeah,
it's for their
exactly.
own good. They're kind of like maybe a little more self-centered, maybe more like
but not necessarily
what's in it for me?
malicious. Yeah, not necessarily in a bad way, but like in a way that's like going to benefit them. But also like sly too. Like they have to be like they're sly and cunning as well. But like, yeah.
We need to take that. There's a test on the internet. There's a test.
Let's take it real quick. Should we take it? I think it's a quick test on like Buzzfeed or something. Does that all make sense? You guys let us know. Hit us up on Twitter.
I'm no Harry Potter expert, so sorting. I just looked up sorting. Sorting hat quiz.
Yeah, keep reading them out.
Oh, Hogwarts is burning down, and there are 3 important things you must save, but are in different locations. There are student records, a dragon pox cure, and a book of Merlin. In which order do you save the items? Gosh. Student records. Fuck the student records. Let's go blast. Dragon pox cure and book of Merlin. Cure, book. No, I'd go book, cure, records. Boom. Which would you most want to be? Envied, trusted, praised, feared, imitated, liked. Ooh. trusted. What do you find most hard to cope with?
We already got copyright on this, so it doesn't matter if we use this song. How many questions are there?
I'm almost to the 14th. Which are you most looking forward to at Hogwarts? Broom flying, learning every area of magic, transfiguration, magical creatures, apparition, disapparition. Yeah, that's probably it. Castle secrets, nah. Sun, Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, go for it. Which power do you wish you had? Invisibility, talk to animals, super strength, change appearance, change the past, read minds. That one's hard. Why would I want invisibility? This is the one for sure. It's cute. I don't know how many questions there are. They just keep coming. A muggle confronts you and says they know you are a wizard. You respond by asking why they think so, telling them you are worried about their mental health, offering them a jinx sample, agreeing and walking away bluffing. I probably agree. You're walking through the Forbidden Fortress at night when you hear a twig snap. What do? Proceed with caution and your concealed wand. Draw a wand and stand your ground. Withdraw into the shadows. Draw a wand and find a source of the noise. Oh, gosh.
There's 100 questions.
I don't think... Where does it tell you? I'm just going to keep trying. Try to confuse them. Yeah, that's probably what I did. Oh, my gosh. Okay, if this isn't the last one, we're done. If in your worst nightmare, you would dream of... No. Oh my gosh. Moon or star? Star. Oh my gosh. You are at a fork in the road. You choose the path that goes next to the river, goes through the forest. Goes next to the river. Dawn or dusk? Dusk. Oh, it's calculating results. Oh, we got through it. Oh, let's see what it is. Hufflepuff.
What is the point of choosing heads or tails? It's completely random.
You don't... Congratulations, you have been sorted into... Gryffindor! It's true. The House of Bravery and Chivalry. You have nerve and courage, not afraid to try anything. Oh my gosh. Officially, but not. Like, what were those questions? Black or white? Heads or tails? Left or right? Dawn or dusk?
Doesn't matter. You're a fucking Harry Potter's fan.
Woo! Gryffindor. I always knew.
I was going to take that test, but...
No, that's a long-ass test. I mean, with the actual sorting hat on my head, who knows? Who knows, you know? How did we get to the topic of Harry Potter? Any Potterheads out there? Duh.
I don't know. Let us know. Hit us up in the comments.
If you guys don't like Harry Potter, stop listening to us.
Rooster Teeth. I listen to Rooster Teeth podcasts, and they fucking crack me up because they fucking go on these tangents, and they're like, but they have a live audience too, like live podcasts online.
Oh, like, so people are...
And they fucking straight up be like, what were we talking about? Like, please let us know. Send us a tweet right now.
Somebody keep us on track because we don't know what's happening.
Like, it's literally part of their podcast at the end. The last 10 minutes is like, please let us know, like, if we brought something up and we didn't finish explaining it or finish talking about it. And, like, they tweet at them at the end of the show. And they're like, oh, yeah, we went off on this tangent. And they complete the thought. It's fucking brilliant.
That's true. Well... I think that's also necessary because we tend to do that a lot.
We definitely need that. Audible, hit us up.
Let us know. Let us know where we're leaving off.
We'll write a book about it and put it on audible.com.
Audible.com. We are not sponsored by them, but we support them. We're just giving them free sponsorship, free like airtime right now. We're done. Anyways, Hogwarts, Muggles, Harry Potter.
Dope. Harry Potter.
I loved Harry Potter. That was the highlight of my childhood. I mean, those books. I got to the point where I was waiting for them to come out. Like, it's not like a movie. It's not like a movie. It's like, you're not just like, oh man, I can't wait for the new Spider-Man movie to come out.
Yeah.
And you go and you spend 2 hours and, you know, all that, those millions and millions of dollars, you spent 2 hours to watch, you know. But you wait for a book and you like, I mean, maybe somebody can read in 2 hours, but you know, that's probably your next few weeks that you get some reading in.
I read Harry Potter in like a couple of days.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, just fucking sit down and read it all.
Well, you know what? I used to stay up I can't stay up late and read a book. Like, that's why it's taken me so long now, too.
I would stay up late and read a book.
That's what I used to do. I used to be up. That's probably why I'm such a night owl and not an early bird.
Yeah.
I would be up all night reading Harry Potter.
There's some books. I read a book called A Child Called It.
Yeah.
In one sitting. I literally read that, like, front to back.
Everybody read that. I never read that book. But everybody talked about it. Like, what's your favorite book? What's A Child Called It? I was like, what?
Yeah, it was fucked up.
I read a lot of Mary Higgins Clark when I was growing up.
Fucked up.
Really? What?
It's supposed to be a true story, too, I think.
What happened?
I don't remember now. That was like when I was fucking in 7th grade or something, or 12th grade.
What?
I read 7th or 8th grade.
I think I read every Mary Higgins Clark book. Those were like mystery novels.
Yeah,
like
my
somebody
mom read
always
books like
died.
that. Yeah, my mom read books like that. She read a lot of
were good.
legal thrillers.
Yeah.
And like murder mystery stuff.
I do.
My brother read a lot of like Stephen King.
I have not read one Stephen King book. His movies freaked me out.
They're pretty good. His books are really pretty good. Like even if you're not into like the crazy murder-y like shit.
Yeah.
Like his storytelling is so compelling. Like his books are really entertaining. They're really easy to follow. And they just flow really great, and they're just like, wow, you're captivated.
Okay, so if I had to rank one Stephen King book, which would you recommend?
You have to ask the internet for that.
Internet, please tell me.
My brother could probably tell.
Text him.
I'm gonna text him right now.
Hit him up. Okay, cool.
I bet he's still awake.
What is what? Yeah, people, let us know what you're reading too. You're supposed to read fiction before you go to sleep. Like that's what I'm sure I heard it from Tim Ferriss or another podcaster, but instead of reading that's why I try not to read any of my self-help books before bed. A lot of times I'm like researching random shit before I go to sleep, and I have to put my phone or my book down. Oh, you're just calling him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check on Roxy real quick.
She's just knocking at someone walking down the hallway. Yo, are you still awake?
He answered.
Cool. Hey, I'm having a discussion here with Ruby, and we're talking on the podcast right now, but we're just trying to figure out if you're going to read one Stephen King book, what would you recommend? Yeah, just one book for someone who has never read a Stephen King book.
Well, the starter book.
To introduce someone to him. I mean, I guess if it was if it was inherently part of a series of books, then that's fine too. If you think that would be. I haven't read that many. I know you have read way more than I have.
Are we putting too much pressure on him?
Here.
There's a book called Rage that you can't get a hold of. It's about school shootings. And that was one I liked a lot. It is pretty messed up, but I read that back when I was in high school, and they took it out of print when everybody started getting shot in schools and stuff.
After Columbine?
It was even before that.
Wow.
weird thing is that his books, like, even though they're all about separate different things,
Yeah.
there's characters that pop up in them all throughout different books. Like he always talks about the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is different characters in different books. It's crazy, but man.
Yeah, it was a hard question. I couldn't think of it, and I just knew you knew more about Stephen King than I did, so I thought I'd ask you.
I would just go with the first Dark Tower book, because then that would get you hooked into it, and then you would go from there.
Dark what?
The Dark Tower,
Oh, Dark Tower.
the first book. Matt.
Well, I was trying to explain to Ruby, who has never read a Stephen King book, that it's like, even though his books are like somewhat horrifying, like that's not even what gets you as a reader. What gets you is his storytelling. Like he just catches you, and it's crazy. He just tells such a good story.
His books are really thick too, right?
Yeah, some of them are. All right, well,
Have a read. Oh shoot, is it Carrie? No. Man, the one where the guy's a writer, and he's in a car
Oh, The
accident,
Shining.
and the lady she takes care of him.
Oh.
They made a movie off of it too, but the book is way more fucked than what the movie is.
is it Thinner?
No,
No.
I know what
there's something else. Oh man.
I know what book that is.
Hold on, let me try to look it up.
Yeah.
How would I explain it? It's when you look shit up.
I know.
What?
The internet.
Just gotta look it up. Are you looking it up on your phone? Sounds like you're playing
Yeah.
Sounds like you're playing drums. That's awesome. Google. Do you have an Android phone?
Yeah.
It literally, the sound on my phone when you were looking it up on your phone, it sounded like you were playing the Congo. That's awesome.
Misery.
Misery. All right, I'm gonna let her know that. She's gonna have to read that.
I will.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll let you go. Are you playing video games right now? What are you doing?
I'm watching Roast Battle on Comedy Central.
I'm getting ready to get back into gaming. Do you have an old Xbox or anything?
Well, I've got my Xbox, and then we bought Jackson Xbox One. I gave my old first Xbox to Jasmine a while back.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get at least an Xbox 360 used or something.
Let's go buy a used one at freaking GameStop for like $100.
I just want a PlayStation now because I want to play Metal Gear Solid. All right, man, we'll let you go. All right, thank you, sir. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. What? Well, there you have it. Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Right? And Misery.
And Misery.
I remember seeing clips of that movie. I don't think I've ever watched the movie, but it is pretty fun. Yeah, it's I think some like crazy fan of this author holds him up in a house and breaks his legs and he can't leave. I don't know. That's
Wow.
I don't know what it is.
It probably is. I don't know. I don't know enough about Stephen King movies to.
I did watch a weird. I liked the Sci-Fi Channel growing up, and I did watch a weird Stephen King movie where these people go up in a plane. They're like flying somewhere, right? And then they.
Oh, that's that. That movie's called The Langoliers, right?
Yeah, The Langoliers. That is what it's called.
That movie was fucked up, man. I watched that movie as a kid.
I don't even remember what happened at the end, but they landed and just like there's nobody around, right? It was just like nobody, like everything was abandoned.
Yeah,
it's so weird. The Langoliers. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. What happens at the end?
I was like, okay, from what I remember, they landed at an airport or something, right?
Yeah,
and it was like everything was abandoned, but like
there's like monsters,
from what I remember
right?
from the movie, like they panned out and it was like essentially they panned out from the airport, and like the airport was like on a tiny, basically island, like in the midst of like all the fucking like monsters like eating like the whole
World?
existence or whatever.
What?
And like it was like obvious that it was they're going to be eaten as well. At least that's what I got.
Remember that. The Langoliers.
Spoiler alert.
Hope you guys like spoilers because you're gonna get a lot of them.
That hasn't if you haven't seen that movie.
Yep. I do remember that movie. It left me
shook, right?
Yeah, I was
that
shook.
Shit was crazy. I remember seeing that as a kid. I was like, holy shit.
What was I watching? Why was I up late watching fucking sci-fi
I was
channel?
watching that shit because of him. My brother, he's 10 years older than me. I remember when I was like 6 years old, he was 16, and that's when he started watching like scary movies and movies that were inappropriate for him to even watch as a 16-year-old. We were watching like Freddy Krueger and stuff when I was like 6 years old.
What?
Yeah.
We used to watch Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, I used to watch that too.
Yep.
That
We
shit
used
was
to watch
crazy.
that. Oh my gosh, we used to watch so much scary movies. I remember watching It growing up. That was scary AF. Did you ever watch the Leprechaun movie? That was scary. Chucky. Oh my gosh. My mom. Fun facts about Ruby. And this might be the first time you're hearing this, but my mom said growing up I had an imaginary friend named Chucky. And this was around the same time that Chucky the movie was coming out, maybe. I don't know the timing of this, but I think it was Chucky from the Rugrats because I was real into the Rugrats. But my mom's like, no, I would get scared because you would say, Chucky's in the other room. I would tell my mom stuff like that, like that Chucky was in the other room.
You know that Chucky was a movie, like a scary movie?
I might have had already watched it. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to scare my parents. Maybe I really did have a crazy.
I thought you just like
Imaginary
coincidentally had an imaginary friend named Chucky at the same time there was like a famous horror movie of Chucky the doll.
I don't know if they're related, but my mom thought they were. That's what I'm saying. Like, my mom was like, yeah, I was kind of freaked out. And I was like, Mom, I'm sure it was Chucky from the Rugrats, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Does that timing pan out? When did the Rugrats come out? In the 90s? In the 80s? I was born in
Chucky the movie 80s. Came out. A Child's Play came out like hella...
Like 89.
Can we look it up? To Google.
Yeah, you can't ask Siri because she doesn't know. She doesn't know anything.
Google, I don't have Siri.
That's what I'm
when
saying.
When did A Child's
Don't
Play,
use her.
the movie, come out?
According to Wikipedia, the first installment, Child's Play, was released on November 9th, 1988.
Okay, so the year after I was born. That dates me. Thanks, everybody. Sorry.
So that's funny, like.
But when did the Rugrats come out then?
In the 90s sometime, I think. 92.
I mean, that pans out.
Oh, that's good. Google, hit us up for a sponsorship. Stop bullshitting.
Answer our emails already.
The voice picked up.
The Rugrats.
When did the Rugrats first come out?
The Rugrats movie was released globally on November 8th, 1998.
Ooh, original release was August 11th, 1991.
Yeah, 90s.
I don't know if my parents even had cable.
I watched the Rugrats when I was a kid.
Please put that as part of the description. Was Ruby's imaginary friend Chucky from? Because it's true, we're trying to figure that out. Was it or was it Chucky from Rugrats? Either way, they both were.
Chucky from, if it was
red hair.
The doll, that's scary, man. That's scary.
Had a vivid imagination. I don't know. We'll have to talk to my mom about that. She's the one that tells me these stories. So if anybody else had that imaginary friend, let me know. I'm glad he's still not around. I'm glad he's not around. I guess. I don't know. This is too much information for you people to know. Getting into my personal life now.
You know too much.
I am human. Yeah, you know too much.
That's all right. We can edit all of that. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up. We'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Put a nice little bow on it.
For tuning into the Realennials. I'm Pat.
I'm Ruby.
Make sure you check us out on YouTube. You probably listen to us on YouTube, or you can be listening to us on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, what up?
The Realennials on SoundCloud. Feel free to hit us up at therealennials@gmail.com, and
we're at the Realennials on Twitter, and we're also on Facebook. We have a Realennials page. There's actually a picture of me and Pat there, so
we just started the Facebook page, the Realennials Facebook page. Give us a like.
Oh man, I said I was gonna talk about it.
Comment.
We took a picture at the symphony last week. Me and Pat went to the symphony. It was lovely. We'll talk about it again another time, because we're like wrapping up right now, but the symphony was great. There's pictures of it.
That was fun. That was a really good time. We'll talk about that next podcast.
We fancy.
But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. You guys being along for the journey. Make sure to hit us up and let us know what's up.
Awesome, guys. Happy birthday, J. Cole. The Realennials are signing off. Yeah.
All right. Peace.